Hey there, I'm going to walk you through how to connect your social media apps like I talked about at the conference. It's more detailed than the other automations I've already filmed, but it's not super hard. So just make sure that you've logged into Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, and you have all that information handy. Otherwise, this could get pretty frustrating. Also, make a Facebook post before you start building. Make it on your agency page and make sure you include an image. Try not to make it a weird shaped image like a banner, like that's kind of long. Make it more or less like a square or rectangle, so it can be used and formatted correctly. So, anywho, I'm over here in Zapier, and I'm going to assume everybody's already got their login information and they're ready to go. So we're going to click Make a New Zap. Good to name your Zap first. So you click up at the top, and we're just going to call this social media demo. And like I said, I like to start these with Facebook. So I'm going to go ahead and click Facebook. In the trigger event, you could search for Facebook if it wasn't one of the options that was prompting you on the first screen. Anyway, once you've got this screen up, you're going to go ahead and click what you want the triggering event to be. So in this case, the trigger is going to be a new post by you. Don't make it a new post on the timeline because that could be triggered by other people. Make sure it's a post by you on the timeline. Go ahead and hit continue. So after the screen loads, you're going to need to connect a Facebook account if you haven't already. So I'm going to use my own Facebook account. And hit continue. All right, so we also have to tell it which page to pull from. So in this case, I'm going to pull from Stackwise, and I'm going to hit continue there. And this trigger now needs to be an example. So that's why I said at the beginning of this to make sure that you already made a Facebook post recently so that you can have something to work with. If it tries to pull a post that's old, it may not work properly, as I learned trying to film this video about 20 minutes ago. So go ahead and do that and test the trigger. That's what I just clicked on. So it's going to look at my Facebook page and try to find a post. So I just made a post. It doesn't look like the Facebook post here, right? But this is the back side, the data. So it's got the description or what I made in the post. It's got a link to the image. You don't need to see all that, but just know that it worked. That's the most important thing, is if it finds the most recent post that you made, then we're going to be able to continue this. All right, the next step that you're going to need to search in, you're going to need to add, it's going to be a search. You just start typing filter, and Zapier includes some tools that with the program, and one of them is called a filter. So we need to add a filter so that this Zap only runs if there is a picture involved. So yes, I've selected filter. So this is an only if statement. So we are going to click this area here and choose a field from the Facebook post to use to determine the rule. So you can search through these because there are a lot of them. So I'm going to search type, and I'm going to come down here to where it says type and photo. So Zapier is always going to look at that field to decide whether or not it's going to run, because I'm going to say that whatever is in this field has to exactly match photo. And so this app is only going to run for photos. We don't really want it to run for video necessarily. There's kind of a different Zap you'd need to set up for that potentially, depending on the video. So I'm just wanting to start a basic one that's going to run just for photos. And this green box shows us that based on the post that Zapier is looking at on our Facebook page, that this would have actually continued, which is good. Sometimes you run a filter and it says this post would not have continued, or a path, and that's a good thing, right? Because not everything needs to continue. So from here, eventually when my screen and computer get caught up, I'm going to add another another event. And the next one I'm going to do is Instagram. At this point, you can do them in pretty much any order that you want, because you can set them off of whatever trigger that came before it, or whatever event came before it. But it's all really coming off of this trigger. I guess I should use my words properly. Okay, so what do we want Instagram to do? Well, publish a photo. That's pretty much all Instagram does, right? Continue. Now, if you have multiple accounts, you do need to tell it which account to pull from. So I only have the one account, but it's still going to need to search through my business pages because, well, it has to be connected to a business page. It's not going to allow you to do this on your own personal page. So that's another point while I'm waiting on my computer to catch up is you have to have a business account in order for this to work. Not every kind of media app, but certainly Facebook and Instagram are pretty much locked down unless you have a business account. So now we're all caught up. I'm going to tell it which page I want it to post on. Backwise. All right. Now, the photo, we want to go into the Facebook fields and click show all options. And we are going to go to, full res picture. There. For the caption on our Instagram post, we want to just use the message from the Facebook post. So that will be now, it will now become the caption. And I'm not going to worry about tagged users or location. So now we want to test this. Be aware that when you test this app, it's going to make a post on your page. So if you don't like the post that's in your test, you're going to want to go in and delete it right away. It's just kind of the way it goes. You can skip the test, but I don't advise that unless you built it before and you already know it's going to work. So I'm just going to go ahead and test it and let it make an Instagram post so you can see the message they populate. So there you go. Media was sent to Instagram for business in about 35 seconds. I'm going to just go ahead and check my Instagram here. And sure enough, there it is. I think. Hang on. Be cool. Yep, there it is. Okay, so it made the post about my t-shirts. So there we go. Next, we close that little section and we are going to LinkedIn. So I kept it paused for a minute just to kind of get things set up. So I added LinkedIn. I'm going to choose the action event to share a company update. You can, I believe, share on your own page, which is actually a really good idea. And maybe I'll add that at some point. But right now, I'm just trying to keep things streamlined for your business pages. So your business Facebook, business Instagram, business LinkedIn, and your business Twitter. Now we're going to tell it which account we want. So stackwise, I'll let it think. I'm going to say continue. All right, so with Instagram, it's a little bit different when you actually set up the action. So first, you obviously need to tell it a page. So I'm going to tell it stackwise. In the update content, that's going to be the same as the message in the Facebook page, which is normal. But with LinkedIn, you also have to add this preview URL, which is not the same in Instagram. So when you go into the Facebook post to get it, you need to actually go in there and get the link. Okay, you're going to get the link there. And then the preview image, we're actually going to go get the full res image. I had to check my notes because I wanted to make sure I was telling you the right thing. Full res image. We don't need to do anything for the preview title or description. Let it think. So here we are. It's showing me everything that it's got. We're going to hit test and review and see if it made a successful LinkedIn post. And wow, that was really fast. Good. So it did make a post to my LinkedIn page, or to the Stackwise LinkedIn page, excuse me, not my own page. So at this point now I could go in and I could share this post on LinkedIn from my own page, or I could even build another Zap where I make this post as well. So we're going to close this and we're going to add a step for this particular Zap, and that's going to be Twitter. I know Twitter is somewhat divisive. Some people think you should have it, some people don't. I say if it's free and it's social media and there could be eyeballs on it, then why wouldn't you do it? And especially in this setting, you can just post to it without actually using the application or without using the app. I don't really recommend not using the app because if someone responds to you, you want to be able to communicate with them. But hey, it's still a platform, and Twitter is also a little bit more fun than the other ones. Twitter, you can have a little bit more engagement with other brands, I think, than you can on Facebook. I don't see a lot of brand interaction. I see people interacting with brands, interacting with people. But on Twitter, if you're familiar with Wendy's, um, they've had some pretty epic Twitter posts, and they just have good people running their social media, so they can be pretty funny about it. Anywho, okay, I've stalled for long enough, but please, consider getting a Twitter account for your business. I don't think it can hurt anything. I think it can only help. So we are going to create a tweet. So just like everything else, you need to tell what account you want to use. We're going to do Stackwise Twitter. Put them in there, should probably clean that out. So here we go. Same drill as before. We need to grab the message out of Facebook to make the message or the bulk of the message the tweet. We need to grab the image. So again, we're going to go back to the Facebook post. We're going to grab the full res image, full res picture, whatever. Shorten URLs. Yeah, sure. Why not? Forgot to hit play. Sorry. But the tweet, I tested it and it did work. So I did get a tweet posted to my Stackwise business page. And it's as simple as that. I really think that this is something that everybody should consider doing. If you're not already paying someone to manage your social media, if you're trying to wear the social media hat and the marketer hat while you're also running your agency, maybe even selling and producing, you should really consider doing something like this so that one post can equal 4 posts or 5 posts if you can figure out how to use Pinterest. I still haven't figured it out, but I know it's an option. So take advantage of all the free social media marketing you can. Wow, I don't know what happened. I'm filming this really late at night, so I'm sorry I'm a little out of it, but I'm just going to stop rambling and say thank you for watching. I hope this helps. If you need anything, if you need any help at all, please contact me. I'm more than happy to help anybody, client or not. It doesn't matter. We're all in this together, and I appreciate you watching.